In some versions of Windows, there are some Java runtime APIs, which at one time Sun labeled as pure Java APIs. Subsequently, they changed in a way that was not upwards compatible. So it's actually kind of confusing.
Does Windows have any APIs that you would consider to be pure Java APIs?
Today,
Yes.
yeah, I guess the AWT 1.1 stuff, you might think of that way.
Anything else?
I don't know what you mean, anything else. Are
Any
we
other,
enumerating?
any other APIs in Windows that you would consider to be pure Java APIs, Mr. Gates?
I know there's more. I don't know the technical names for them.
Okay. And does Microsoft have a version of Java that is not what you refer to in your memo as pure Java?
I have no idea what you mean by that question.
Okay. Does Windows include APIs that are written in what is described as a form or version of Java, but not pure Java?
Are you talking about the language?
If you don't understand the question, Mr. Gates, you can simply say you don't understand the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't understand
Good.
the question.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is get on the record what you say you understand, what you say you don't understand.
Yeah,
There are many
but-
times where the witness clearly indicates he doesn't understand the question, but doesn't preface it with the words, I don't understand the question. If you want that convention,
I do.
okay.
Because I don't want speeches as to what the witness does think if he simply doesn't understand the question.
No, but I was pointing out to you the part of the question that I didn't understand because it was ambiguous.
Would you read the answer back, please? Or the statement back?
Are you talking about the language?
No, I'm not talking about the language, if by the language you mean all the things that you said about the Java language when we were talking about Java yesterday. Now let me go back to me asking the questions, if I can. As part of an effort to take control of Java away from Sun, in the terms used by Mr. Slifka in his memo with Mr. Gay to you, dated April 14th, 1997, did Microsoft make an effort to get people to use a version of Java APIs that was not pure Java APIs?
Objection.
It's a very compound, I don't understand the question.
Okay. In an attempt to, in Mr. Slifka's words, wrest control of Java away from Sun, did Microsoft make an effort to get programmers to write to APIs that could be used to run applications on Windows, but not on all other operating systems to which a pure Java written program could be run?
I wouldn't say that was part of anything to do with controlling Java, but we do promote the use of the unique Windows APIs.
And with respect to the unique Windows APIs, are some of those APIs that Microsoft describes as Java APIs? Or has in the past?
All of our APIs can be called from Java. So now I don't know what you mean by a Java API. Usually somebody would mean something that you can only call from Java or something that you can call from Java, whether you can call it from other languages or not. Our APIs we make available to a broad set of languages, including Java, but others as well.
Mr. Gates, you've been sued by Sun Microsystems over Java, have you not?
There's a lawsuit with Sun.
Well, there's a lawsuit with Sun, and it's a lawsuit with Sun relating to the use of Java, right?
It relates to a very specific contract that we have with Sun.
And does that very specific contract with Sun relate to Java?
It's a license to various Sun technologies related to Java.
Okay. Now, you're familiar with that lawsuit, are you not, sir?
Not very.
Not very? Do you know what the contentions in that lawsuit are?
No.
Never tried to find out? Is that your testimony?
I haven't read the complaint, if that's your question.
That's not my question. My question is whether you've ever tried to find out the substance of the allegations about Java that Sun is making in its lawsuit against Microsoft.
My understanding of their allocations is very limited.
What is your understanding of their allegations?
I haven't read the contract between Microsoft and Sun.
I'm asking you about the allegations in the complaint, not whether you've read the contract. Asking for your understanding, which I know you've already said is very limited, but I'm asking for your understanding of what allegations Sun makes in its claim against Microsoft.
I think there's some dispute about, they were supposed to make the test cases public and upwards compatible, and they didn't make them public and they weren't upwards compatible. And that relates to the contract that I haven't read.
And that's what you think they allege in the complaint?
Well, those are certain things that they were required to do, I believe.
My question is not about what you believe they were required to do, Mr. Gates. My question is, what is your understanding about the complaint that they make about what you did, about what Microsoft did? Do you understand the question?
You're asking me to summarize their lawsuit?
I'm asking you to tell me what you know about the claims they make in that lawsuit. You said you know something about it, but it's very limited. All I'm trying to do is get you to tell me what it is you know about the claims they make in their lawsuit.
I think they want us to ship JNI.
Is that all you know about their claims?
I think there was something about a trademark.
What about the trademark?
Whether we could use the trademark? I'm not sure.
Don't you know, Mr. Gates, that one of the allegations that they make is that you're taking their trademark and applying it to things that it shouldn't be applied to?
Yeah, I think there's a trademark issue. I'm not sure what they're saying about the trademark.
Do you know anything that they're saying about the trademark, according to your present testimony?
I know there's a dispute about the trademark.
don't you know that one of the things they're alleging is that Microsoft is taking their trademark and applying it to things it shouldn't be applied to, according to them?
I'm not sure that's right, because
No? You're not sure?
I don't think we use their trademark. I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused about that. I've never seen us using their trademark. So I'm a little confused about how that relates to any dispute with Sun.
Did you ever try to find that out?
What?
What the claims were, more than your present knowledge?
I read something that was on our website about 4 days ago.
About the Sun lawsuit?
Yeah, Bob Muglia had some statements.
Other than that, did you ever try to find out what Microsoft is being charged with, what they're alleged to have done wrong?
I've had discussions with Moritz saying, do I need to learn about this lawsuit? Do I need to spend a lot of time on it?
What did he say?
He said no, he's focused on that and I can focus on other things.
Is one of the things that you're focused on, trying, in Mr. Slifka's words, to wrest control, or get control, if wrest is a word that you don't like, of Java away from Sun?
No.
How did you think Microsoft could get control of Java away from Sun?
Objection.
I honestly don't know what you mean by control of Java. I know those words are in that email from Mr. Slifka, but when you ask me the question, I don't know what you mean control of Java.
Is your testimony, Mr. Gates, that as you sit here today under oath, you have no idea what Mr. Slifka meant when he said that one of the pointed questions that you had raised with him was how to get control of Java away from Sun?
I told you I think it related to our attempt to make our runtime APIs the most popular runtime APIs.
And not the Java APIs from Sun. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's not label the APIs, not the unique ones that Sun was promoting.
When you say the unique ones that Sun was promoting, what were the unique ones that Sun was promoting called?
I'm not sure what they're called. I think AWT 1.2 maybe? Or JDK 1.2?
And is it your best testimony that that's what you think this would have meant back in April of 1997, sir?
That what meant?
Getting control of Java away from Sun. The thing we've been talking about here.
Is that the same as REST control? I mean, you keep reading
Well-
me these
well,
these words from the email.
I'm trying to get away from the word rest because you say you don't remember that exact word, so I'm trying to use a word that is more neutral, like get or obtain control.
And I've told you I can't understand what's meant by control there. I know that we're trying to make our APIs popular with developers.
How does making your APIs popular with developers relate to obtaining control of Java, if at all?
I don't know what it means to control Java. How can somebody control Java? What does that mean?
Is it your testimony that you have no idea what that means?
To control Java? I don't think anyone can control Java. It's like saying controlling BASIC or COBOL.
Do you really mean that, sir?
Yes.
and I'm going to press this just another 30 seconds, and then I will stop. But I really do want to be sure that I have given you a full and fair opportunity. Is it your testimony that as you sit here today under oath, that you have no idea what is meant by control of Java as used in this email to you by Mr. Slifka?
I've said several times, I think he must be referring to our effort to make our APIs the most popular APIs, but that wouldn't give us control of Java. So I'm having a hard time relating it to the specific words.
Well, without relating it to the specific words, how would getting people to use your APIs get control of Java? Why do you relate those two in your mind?
Because he probably means the Java runtime, not Java.
Let's say he means the Java runtime.
Then he's talking about the competition of APIs.
Is it fair to say, Mr. Gates, that you interpret this as how does Microsoft obtain control of Java runtime? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's the most likely explanation of what he meant. I still don't understand the word control there because it's not the word I'd use.
According to Mr. Slifka, it is the word you used, is it not, sir?
Objection.
We've already been through that.
But looking at this doesn't refresh your recollection about having used that word.
It does not.
Have you ever said in words or in substance to anyone that you wanted to obtain control over Java or over Java runtimes?
I don't remember using those words.
Do you remember conveying that concept or conveying that substance?
If by that concept you mean conveying the idea that we wanted our runtime APIs to be the most popular, then the answer is yes.
Why did you want your runtime APIs to be the most popular?
By having our runtime APIs be the most popular, it means that people are more likely to license Windows because there's applications that take advantage of the unique innovations that are in the Windows product.
Why does the fact that there are applications that take advantage of the unique APIs that are in the Windows product make people more likely to license Windows?
Because it shows off the unique innovations of Windows.
How does it show off the unique innovations of Windows?
Well, let's say, for example, they call our tasking APIs. Then it shows off the unique way that we've done tasking. Let's say they call our clipboard APIs. Then it shows off the advances we've made in data exchange, which are very advanced.
Is it your testimony that trying to get applications writers to write to Windows' own APIs was something that you were trying to do only for the reasons that you've identified?
May I have that read back, please?
Is it your testimony that trying to get applications writers to write to Windows' own APIs was something that you were trying to do only for the reason that you've identified?
Well, I think there's additional reasons as well.
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Gates, that one of the reasons that you were trying, that Microsoft was trying to get control over the Java runtimes, or Java as it's described in Mr. Slifka's memorandum, was to prevent Java or Java runtimes from supporting competition with Windows?
Objection.
I don't know what you mean by control. That means I don't understand the question.
Okay. Did you ever participate in any discussions within Microsoft as to the extent to which Java or Java runtimes posed a threat to Microsoft's position with respect to the Windows platform?
Yeah, I've already told you that there came a point where we viewed Sun's unique Java runtime APIs as a part of the competitive environment, a competitor.
Okay. Now, why were the Java APIs from Sun a competitor?
Well, if people just use the least common denominator APIs, then they don't show off the innovations that we're doing in Windows, and it makes it less attractive to people to license Windows or update Windows.
Now, what I'm trying to do, and you may think you've answered this question, but I don't think the record makes it clear in any event. What I'm trying to do is distinguish between that reason, which you've given me a couple times, and any other reason that may exist. Do you understand what I'm asking?
No.
Okay. Let me try it again. Isn't it true, Mr. Gates, that in addition to whatever desire you may have had to show off your Windows capabilities that you say you had, that one of the things that was going on here was you're trying, Microsoft's trying, to prevent Java from getting wide enough distribution so that it could support applications programming for platforms other than Windows?
No.
Not at all, sir?
There's no limitation of distribution.
Didn't ask whether there's any limitation of distribution. I asked you whether in any way the desire to prevent Java from developing applications that could be used on platforms other than Windows motivated what Microsoft was doing in connection with Java.
Objection. That's a distinctly different question.
What does it mean, Java developing applications?
I actually didn't recall that I'd used that phrase in
Can
the
you read
question.
me the question?
Isn't it true, Mr. Gates, that in addition to whatever desire you may have had to show off your Windows capabilities that you say you had, that one of the things that was going on here was you're trying, Microsoft's trying to prevent Java from getting wide enough distribution so that it could support applications programming for platforms other than Windows? Answer, no. Not at all, sir. Answer, there's no limitation of distribution. Question didn't ask whether there was any limitation of distribution. I asked whether you in any way the desire, I'm sorry. I asked you whether in any way the desire to prevent Java from developing applications that could be used on platforms other than Windows motivated what Microsoft was doing in connection with Java.
Can you answer that question, Mr. Gates? If you can't, I'll rephrase it, but if you can answer it, I'd like to.
I don't know what you mean, Java developing applications.
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Gates, that in addition to whatever other reasons you say you had for what you did with Java and Windows APIs, part of what you were trying to do was to prevent Java from having a wide enough distribution so that it could support programs that could be used on platforms other than Windows.
We had no way of preventing Java from being used on other platforms. It is used on other platforms.
That wasn't my question, sir. My question is whether or not part of what you and Microsoft was trying to do was to limit the distribution of Java sufficiently so that you could thereby limit or reduce the extent to which applications were written that could be used on platforms other than Windows.
No. In fact, we sell the most popular Java tools in the market.
It is your testimony then, sitting here, that Microsoft was not at all motivated by a desire to limit the extent to which Java could be used to develop applications programming that could be used on platforms other than Microsoft's Windows. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
All right, sir. Was your concern over Netscape's browser at all related to the fact that Netscape's browser was viewed within Microsoft as a method of distributing Java?
Objection, at the risk of belaboring the record. Would you care to state the question more precisely and perhaps develop a better record, or do you want to stick with the question you have?
If the witness tells me he can't understand that question, that's an answer. If he can understand the question, I'd like to have an answer.
In addition to that, there's an objection based on that, so that's second consideration.
Oh, you have to read the question again, sorry.
Was your concern over Netscape's browser at all related to the fact that Netscape's browser was viewed within Microsoft as a method of distributing Java?
Another objection, foundation.
Okay, I think the foundation objection may be well taken. Let me ask the foundation question. Did Microsoft believe that Netscape's browser was a means of distributing Java APIs?
Well, Netscape had some APIs in its browser. I'm not sure if you'd refer to them as Java APIs or not.
It's not a question whether I would refer to them that way or not, Mr. Gates. What I'm asking you is what you and Microsoft believe. And my question is, did you and others at Microsoft believe that Netscape's browser was a method for distributing Java APIs.
There were APIs in the Netscape browser. I don't think they were strictly Java APIs, or even in a direct sense specifically.
Have you completed your answer, sir?
Mhm.
Could I have the question read back again?
It's not a question if I would refer to them that way or not, Mr. Gates. What I'm asking you is what you and Microsoft believe. And my question is, did you and others at Microsoft believe that Netscape's browser was a method for distributing